Thanks for listening to the ArtTactic podcast. I'm your host, Adam Green. In this edition of Behind the Report, we take a closer look at our just released Contemporary Art Market Confidence Report. Before we get into the details of the report, I'd like to take a quick step back and explain what is the ArtTactic Art Market Confidence Report. Well, it was launched in May 2005. It's now in its 34th edition. The survey is actually modeled on a similar methodology to the CEO Confidence Survey that was launched in 1976 by the Conference Board in the US. We believe that the opinions of a small group of selected art insiders, whether that be collectors, auction house specialists, advisors, and other art professionals, provide a valuable insight into the perception about the current and future state of the art market. Data is collected and the survey findings are made available every 6 months. The questions asked to compute the indicator have remained constant since the launch of the report in 2005. This edition of the survey is based on a sample of 113 international collectors, auction specialists, art dealers, art advisors, and market analysts and commentators. And about 2/3 of the sample remains the same as when the survey was launched over 15 years ago. So now to the takeaways of the report. The key finding from this edition of the report is that the latest ArtTactic Confidence Indicator reading has come in at 80.6. That's up from 44.6 from the last reading in November 2020, signaling a huge positive shift in market sentiment over the last 8 months. This reading is the highest since January 2014, and up 89% from the pre-pandemic reading in September 2019. It really is incredible to see just how much the art market has recovered since those initial months of the pandemic, when there was so much uncertainty and even fear in the marketplace. So what does the future hold for the art market? Well, no one can say for sure, but in the short term, our experts have a positive outlook on the auction market. The latest auction confidence indicator shows a reading of 90, up from 56 in November this year. Positive sentiment, 52%, outweighs negative sentiment, 7%, by a ratio of more than 7-1, signaling that experts believe the auction market will continue to see a positive trend for the remainder of the year. This is especially the case with younger artists. These artists are affordable on the primary market, and so that makes the demand for their work even greater as the price point is accessible to most collectors. And so we see extraordinary demand for their work at auction, much of which comes from collectors who can't get the work on the primary market. The positive outlook for younger contemporary artists continues. 61% of experts have said that the market will continue to grow for these artists over the coming 6 months, and 79% said this would continue well into the first half of 2022. With the surging prices at auction, we're simultaneously seeing a rise in speculation. The art market speculation indicator has risen 8.7% to 7.4 since November 2020, and it now sits 12% above the moving historic average of 6.6. The price inflation seen in certain segments of the contemporary art market, particularly among a younger generation of artists, and including the recent boom in NFTs, signals that speculative forces could be building up. So who are some of the top artists in our confidence rankings? Well, our top 10 includes Yoshitomo Nara, Cecily Brown, Mark Bradford, George Kondo, Gerhard Richter, Lynette Yadamboke, Julie Moretu, Njeka Akonili Crosby, Dana Schutz, and Rashid Johnson. To download the Contemporary Art Market Confidence Report and get all of this data and more, visit arttactic.com today.